Hey everyone, so an update on the Model 16. I did manage to get a hard drive for it. The Radio Shack 15 meg system with the newer revision Western Digital 1010 base controller, but I have the drive replaced with this DREM hard drive emulator, and the disk images live on this SD card here. So I have two sets of, two images for it, two operating systems installed. I have TRSDOS 425, and I also have TRS Xenix. I installed TRSDOS 425 myself, formatted the image and installed it. The Xenix image came from the Model 2 archive. So let's fire it up. We'll do TRSDOS first and see what it looks like. We'll wait for the DREM to become ready. It'll beep twice when it's ready to go. And I have the DREM connected to a keyboard and VGA monitor so that we can see what it's doing. See, default Hey is configured. Alright, let's give the Model 16 some power. I should note that there is no SD card in the floppy emulator, so we're booting straight from the hard drive. Alright, and today is 12, not 0, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 0, 1, 8, and it's 13 something. Alright, and as you can tell, there's no floppy activity with any of this. I really only have one file on there. It's the count program I used when I did my little speed race between this machine, the color computer, and the Tandy 1000 SX. And in fact, I could, run BASIC was a staple of these machines, so I can give that a run. And there we are. We has BASIC. And if I go free drive 4 on these machines, drive 4 is the first hard drive, drive 0 is the first floppy drive, so the default drive for TRSDOS becomes drive 4 if you boot from a hard drive. So that's the basic bit of TRSDOS 2, nothing really fancy on there. I'll probably load some programs off of the Model 2 archive on here just to play with it and see what I can do. And now we're going to flip over to Xenix. Okay, so we've switched over to the Xenix image. Let's power the drive back up. The DREM does support switching the disk image on the fly, but in the past I've had trouble with that working. I don't know if the controller doesn't like the drive geometry being changed out from under it or what, but it didn't behave nicely, so I just changed the default image and reboot it. Get the Model 16 powered up again, and here we go. Let's boot Xenix. Press enter this time because I want to set the time and date. You can press F1 and skip the prompt, but I was going to think it's at least a week and a half ago. We got 512K of RAM installed, and we're going to go to normal startup. Okay, and as this is going, you can see there's a whole lot of reading and writing being done on the hard drive. Let's go back over here. I'm going to ask you for the date. Today is 18/12/22, and the time is going to be 13:50. Oops, not that. This isn't TRSDOS. There we go. This is Xenix 3.2, which doesn't technically run on the Model 16 unmodified. Both the operating system and the Model 16 would need some serious modifications if you were to use the stock 6 MHz Motorola 68000 processor board that came in it. This machine has the Tandy 6000 upgrade, which I didn't know they would do to 16s, but apparently they did. That gave it the 8 MHz board and its matching 512K max 1 meg memory board. So let's get logged in. And we're going to type my password. And there we have it. Welcome to Xenix 3.2. I am Joe User. And where am I? Well, my home directory is in /usr/user, which seems foreign now, but that's where they used to be. And I do have a file on here. I have a hello.txt. And the nice thing about this machine is Xenix 3.2 has a VI. So it's much nicer than the line editor that came with Xenix 1.3, and it works just like you would expect VI to work. If there's something that hasn't changed, it's that VI's basic commands are pretty much the same. So and we'll write and quit. Goodbye. And we can see what's running. And I can see who's on the system. Yeah, and one interesting thing is if you do ls, it has some options, but one of them is not a columnar display. But to get around that, the machine does have an lc command. Oops, etc. That'll do that. So I figured it might be fun if we install something on this and make it run. So in the next piece of this, I'm going to install mbasic and we'll run it. And I'm going to use the SD card here and the floppy emulator to get the floppy images on there. And maybe perhaps we'll install Tandy DeskMate for the 6000 as well and see how that works. Okay, so let's install some software. I've got, we're not going to install ScriptSit, but I've got the SD card in there. The block of notes is sitting on there because the slot is broken, so the card pops out. It doesn't sit right, and that thinks it's write protected. So anyway, let us choose. And we're going to go up a level to Model 16, and we're going to do mbasic. Alright, so now I need to become root, so let's go do that. Okay. And we're going to log in. Okay, and welcome me as root. And now I'm going to run the install program. Okay, we're going to go 1 to install. Insert diskette to 0, 0, and press enter. Multi-user basic. Thank you for buying another Radio Shack package. Let's see, this thing is climbing away. Figured I'll give you the full experience. And type mbasic to load and start basic. Installation complete. Remove the diskette. To do that, we'll just push the button here. Okay. Press enter. And we're going to queue to quit. Alright, now I think I can... Oops. Try this out. Okay, now I'm me. MBASIC. Let's see if it works. Hey, look at that. TRS-80 Model 16 Basic. Decimal Math. Copyright 1982 by Microsoft. I am basic on Xenix. Yay! And quote caps off enter. And back to Xenix we go. Okay. Let me switch disks over to DeskMate. And we'll do DeskMate next. Okay, Desk 1. Okay, so I will leave being me, back to root. And we're going to go back to the installer. I probably won't make you sit through all of these, I'll just start it and then finish it. We're going to 1 to install. And disk is loaded. Oh yes, I won't make you wait 10 minutes. We'll check back. Alright, so DeskMate's installed, and we're back to the installer menu, so we're just going to quit. And that's not 2, that's Q, go me. Alright, and let's do this. Let's log out, log back in as me, and we're just going to do this. But anyway, let's see what we've got here. Alright, now this is the Tandy 6000 version. The documentation only mentions the 6000. Whether that's just because it requires Xenix 3, I don't know. Maybe it requires some weird variation on the 6000's video board. Who knows? But I'm going to try it anyway and see what happens. Alright, well, we have some rendering. Got a whole lot of disk activity going on over here. I have no events for today, but the calendar's correct. Well, there we go. Current directory is my directory. Hey, look at that. DeskMate applications. Alright. Let's type a letter. I'll say this. It ain't the speediest. And it looks more like DeskMate for the Tandy 1000, the original DeskMate. So, while this is going, I'll give you an idea what I'm looking for here. Gotta turn it on, though. Okay, let's power up the Tandy 1000. And we will show you what I'm talking about. So on this guy, I have DeskMate 3, which is actually a much later version, much more user-friendly, much more graphic, user interface-like, kind of GEOS-like. But the original version that came with this machine much more resembled this one, which is now asking me for a file name in text, so I'm going to call it text doc. Oops. TXT. File name error. Okay, it does not like that, so call it doc. I'm just going to call it text doc then. Okay. Oh, look, I can type. See, look. Great. So, this is DeskMate 3, booting up now, but I have a copy of the old DeskMate on here. So we'll bring these back and show you what it looks like once this finishes powering up. I will exit. This is DeskMate 2. And the smartwatch in this thing is screwed, so it thinks it's 2015. The date doesn't render right because of year 2000 and all. But you can see that looks very familiar. Let's see if we can get out of here. I'm going to queue to quit. Okay, here we go. So here now, it did save. Alright. Oh, that's why it already gives you an extension. So anyway, you can see the columns. Move the arrows around. Got events for today, calendar, all that stuff. And if I go over here to the Tandy 1000 version, DeskMate 2, same kind of thing. Except I think on the... Actually, no, you see the semicolon with the date there? The date renders incorrectly on the Model 16 as well. Interesting. Very cool. But anyway, so that is kind of the DeskMate experience across the machines. We'll just exit that. Power you down. And that's DeskMate. It appears to work, so I think that's all the Model 16 y'all need for today. We'll just quit back out to DeskMate, back to the shell. Oh, DeskMate, bye. Just like this video, bye.